Hi, in the video where we looked at the theory of statistical mediation, we looked at an example based on some real data where we were trying to see whether the relationship between AI use and critical thinking was mediated by cognitive offloading, which is the extent to which you kind of use tools to help you with your thinking, essentially. This video is going to have a look at how we would fit this model using R. In the interest of keeping things short, we're going to run through the code. If you look in the description for this video, you'll find a Quarto file that has the code in it, the data file, and there's also a link to a video that shows you how to set up R to use these files. This is the Quarto file that is linked in the description, and hopefully you have imported this into your data folder. And just notice that I have got the visual editor on, so if your file doesn't look quite like this, make sure you've got it in the visual editor mode. Looking at the Quarto document itself, as with all the Quarto documents I provide, the first code chunk basically loads the packages that we're going to need to use, or the main packages that we use, and it also reads in the data. So what this code here does is it uses the here function, which basically just locates your project. And then within that, it specifies the data that we're going to load. So it says basically have a look in the data folder and find this file called Gerlich 2025.csv. And then this gets piped into a function called read.csv, which is a specific function for reading comma separated value data files, which is the format of the data that we have. Basically though, just click on the green arrow, and what this will do, load some packages, it will load in the data. So we now have some data. We can see this by highlighting the name of the object we've created, and if you hit command return on a Mac, control return maybe on Windows, we can see, here's our data. We've got 4 variables, the ID of the participant, and a variable representing AI use, variable representing cognitive offloading, and a variable representing critical thinking. Now, these data are not the actual data from the study, but they are simulated to mimic the results pretty closely. Now, using our process of evil, see the other video that I did on that, one thing we always do is visualize our data. So this second code chunk, we're basically using the ggalley package to plot a scatter plot matrix. So all we do is we use this function and we just specify that we want the data to be the data that we've just loaded in, the Gerlich underscore tib. And I'm applying a specific theme to it, but essentially if we run this code chunk with the green button, we get this plot. Now this shows us a couple of things off the bat. So first of all, up here, we are told what's on the x-axis, and I personally find it a bit confusing that it's up there, so I'm going to write some labels down here just to remind us of what's on the x-axis. And along here, we're told what's on the y-axis. From this, we can pretty much see there's a kind of positive relationship between AI use and cognitive offloading. The more you use AI, the more you generally use tools to help you with your thinking. There's a negative relationship between AI use and critical thinking. The more you use AI, the less your critical thinking. And similarly, there's a negative relationship between cognitive offloading and critical thinking. The more you tend to offload your cognition, the less you tend to think critically. Okay, on to the model itself. We have to do this in 2 parts. So the first part is to write some code that actually specifies the model. And we have to give this a name. I've called it Gerlich mod underscore mod. And all the green stuff is basically specifying the model. We can look at this sort of line by line. So for example, this first line here is basically specifying this part of the model. So it's specifying those paths B and C. So what we're saying here is crit think, that's the outcome, and the tilde means is predicted from, and then we're saying it's predicted from AI, but we're attaching a label to the path, and the label we're attaching is C. We're using C because that just matches what's on the diagram. You could use any letter you like. But we're also saying that critical thinking is going to be predicted from cognitive offloading. And again, we are specifying, we're giving a name to the path that connects them. And again, we're using B just because it kind of maps onto what's on the diagram, but you could use whatever you want. What about the second line? Well, on the second line, we're specifying this part of the model. So we're saying that cognitive offloading, this thing here, is predicted from AI use. So it's predicted from this thing here. And again, we're attaching a label to the path that connects them, and we're using a label of A, which is just consistent with what we've used in the diagram. So those first two lines are kind of literally taking that diagram, but sort of writing them sort of mathematically. But then we have to do a couple of things. The first is we have to define the mediation effect. So what we're saying is we want an effect that we're going to label indirect effect. We could label that whatever we want. We could label it Charlie if we want, but it makes sense to label it indirect effect because that's what it is. And then we're saying is equal to path A multiplied by path B. So again, kind of what we're saying here maps onto our diagram. We're saying that the indirect effect is equal to the sort of combined effect of paths A and B. I cannot draw with a mouse, but anyway, hopefully you get the gist. And then we're also, with this final line, saying we want to specify something that we're going to call the total effect. So this is like the overall effect of AI use on critical thinking, and that's made up of two things. It's made up of, first of all, this direct effect C. So we're giving it a label of C to match the diagram and to match what we put up here. So we're saying that total effect is equal to the path C, but it's also, we've got to add into that the indirect effect, which we've defined above, which is path A times B. So really this whole block of code here is just converting that diagram into a sort of language that R understands. Now in terms of fitting the model itself, we have to use a second bit of code. So we use the lavaan package and a function called SEM. And within that function, we specify the model to be the code up here. So we say this is Gerlich mod, and we are using that thing that we saved up there to be our model. So that thing up there is now our model. We also specify where the data is coming from. So we say the data is coming from our Gerlich tib. And then we treat missing values using full information maximum likelihood. And the estimator we're going to use, the MLR estimator, is a robust maximum likelihood estimator. We're going to save our results in something called Gerlich fit. So having run this code, the results or the model and the details of the model are going to be stored under that name. So let's execute that code. And essentially not a lot happens. In fact, nothing seems to have happened. And that's because the model's been fitted, but it's been saved. We haven't asked to look at it. Now to look at the model parameter estimates, we can use, I've put it in a different code chunk, but we use model parameters from the easystats package. And all we do is we place the name of our model into that function. So again, just note, we saved our model as Gerlich fit. So that's the name we placed down here. So we put it in the model parameters function. And when we execute this code chunk, I've also piped it into the function called display. So if we were to render the document, we'd basically get a nicer table. If we execute this code chunk here, here's our results. So basically, in terms of mediation, the thing we're interested in is this part here. so the indirect effect which we specified in our code. So that basically tells us the indirect effect has a parameter estimate of minus 0.25, and it has a confidence interval that doesn't include 0. So assuming this is one of the 95% of samples that includes the population value, then that value is between minus 0.39 and minus 0.11. And there's a p-value attached to that, which is less than 0.001. So under conventional thresholds for significance, we have a significant mediation effect. We could extract all of the results from those tables into this diagram like I have done here. And what this effectively tells us is that there is a significant mediated relationship between AI use and critical thinking. So in other words, the relationship between AI use and critical thinking that goes via cognitive offloading is significant.